The series is called Storytime, where I'll be telling different stories. And I've selected one of the stories to start off with. Something that's very important is when I first realized that, I had the visions. I was able to see things before they happen. Some people call that prophecy, to be able to prophesy and things like that. But, at the time that it was happening, I hadn't even opened my Bible yet. I didn't even have a Bible. I wasn't really, I'd say I was a lukewarm Christian. So I wasn't, before I leave my house, obviously, or in the morning, I'll say morning prayer. Before I go sleep, probably say, night prayer before I go sleep. But it wasn't really, I'll go to church on Sunday sometimes. But it wasn't really, I didn't really have a relationship with God. So when this event took place, I didn't realize that it was God's way of showing me that, look, I've been with you. Do you get what I'm saying? So at the time, I just thought it was, having a good intuition. But looking back at it, it was just the Holy Spirit showing me the gift. One of the gifts that I have was being activated. So this is one of the first times I'd say, obviously there's many times where this has happened in my life, even from a younger age, but I'd say from this moment is when I thought, like, there's something there, because I literally saw it happen before my own eyes. So we're going to get into this story. Remember, this is Chris Speaks. If the story helps you out in any way, because I know a lot of us got gifts and we just don't realize it. So if this does help you out in any way, make sure to press the like button and subscribe and, look out for my future videos. You still shine by the way, little Chris is doing fine by the way. Yeah, don't touch you, get fried by the way. More fire, rock there, she's on the way. Yeah, TikTok, I'm on time by the way. Still rapping, more preaching on the way. Yeah, real ones, it's on time by the way. He's on you, don't need Bible by the way. Before I start with this story, I'd like to say that I no longer participate in these sort of activities. I've changed my life around and I have no plans of returning, of going back to how I used to be. So where this started was I used to be, you know, selling products, let's just say. I was making a lot of money from it. I was lost. Do you get what I'm saying? Even though I knew the name Jesus, I wasn't really out for serving God. I was just doing my own thing. Yeah, I believed there was a God, but I wasn't really, I was a lukewarm Christian. So I was out there, I used to sell stuff and I used to make money. And people always used to come to me and want to join in with what I built. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it was easy money in some way. So one time I had this brother that wanted to join and he needed money. He was going through, I had this brother who he was going through financial issues and he needed money. He needed quick money. And so he approached me and, no, actually he approached one of my friends at the time and he was, asking me to bring him in. And at the time I remember I was thinking, you know what, like, I haven't had a good experience with bringing people bringing people in and what I was taking part in. They just come for the money, but overall it was never, I always had bad experiences with working with other people. They just come in, they see the money and then they just lose themselves and they turn against me because money does turn people against you. Do you get what I'm saying? No matter how close they are. He was practically begging to work with me. And I remember I was like, nah, 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 nah. I was putting it off for like a couple weeks. And then there was a week where I was like, you know what? There's a time where I was getting hot, like in the streets. Do you get what I'm saying? My name was getting hot. So I was like, you know what? Let me just kick back for a bit. And then I thought, yeah, let me give him a chance. So I put him on and he was doing all right, but then he ended up coming with another guy, one of his family members. And they were just, once he started doing that, once he brought his family member into it, they were just moving reckless, and they were under my name as well. Those who knows about the street life know that, when someone comes in to work with you, to work for you and things like that, you're still using, it's still your name that they're using. So whatever they do will always come back to you because you're the one that brought him in. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what was going on. And I weren't too happy about that, but I thought, let me just give him a chance. But then he himself, I remember he approached me one time and he was like, because he saw the amount of money he was making while working with me, he felt that he can do it himself. Do you get it? So I thought, all right, you think, he's got the boss mindset. You know what? He wants to do his own thing. That's cool. Do you get what I'm saying? Because one thing about me is I don't hate on other people making money. Do you get it? We can all make money together. So I was like, yeah, cool. He wants to go do his own thing. Even though at the time I remember thinking like, raw, this is another situation I'm going through, another bad experience where this person hasn't even worked for long. I still have to pay them. And then in the end, as soon as I pay them, they're gone to do their own thing. And then I'm left to pick up the pieces again. But I was just like, all right, cool, paid him. And then he went about his business. Then a few months down the line, he was back to square one and he came back to me again and he was begging, like, look, this is what happened. I tried to do it myself with my family member and it didn't work out, which is kind of what I expected because he came in and he saw the money I was making and he felt that he can just do it just like that. But it didn't happen just like that for me as well. You know what I'm saying? I had to work hard to build what I was building. You know what I'm saying? To the point where as soon as I leave my house, it don't take me long to make a lot of money. So some people might see that and then be like, this is easy, but it wasn't. But he tried it and he saw for himself that it wasn't easy. So he wanted to come back. And I was like, this time I was like, nah, like, I'm not doing it. I'm all right. I remember being at a good point in my life when I was thinking, I don't need no one. Like, I'm all right. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there was no issues. I was cruising. I was good. Do you get what I'm saying? But then, I can't remember what happened. And I decided to give him another chance because I don't really like seeing people beg and seeing people going through financial problems. Do you get what I'm saying? So I was just like, you know what, cool. Um, Long story short, I ended up giving him another chance. This time he came by himself. So he came back and he was working. And then later on down the line, he started messing around with people that I didn't. Because one thing about me is I care about people too much, probably more than they care about themselves, for themselves. So I ended up showing him the ropes, showing him who to stay away from, who to stay with, who to work with, where to go, where to not go. And, I just showed him the ropes. Like, get what I'm saying? I was looking after him as if it was myself being out there. Do you get what I'm saying? So just trying to show him how to stay out of trouble and how to get this money. So I did that, did all I can do, showed him the ropes, but he started hanging around with people that I didn't tell him to hang around with. Do you get it? And then at that time, I spoke to him about it because there was certain people that I had cut off earlier, like from years ago, because my intuitions, my spirit just didn't sit right with them. I didn't know why, but obviously now I know why. But I just, one thing about me is once my spirit don't feel right with you being around me, I don't care how much money you offer me, you're not gonna see me. Do you get what I'm saying? So I always knew that. That was a way of how I protected myself. So when it came to him now, obviously he's an adult, he was around the same age as me, so I can't really tell a grown man what to do. But I tried my best to advise him. So I was just like, yeah, you see those people that you're hanging around, I'm not the one that I didn't tell you to hang around with them. You get what I'm saying? And me telling him that, obviously he was just like, look, yeah, cool, cool, cool. And then him saying cool, I thought, yeah, he's gonna stop. But I didn't know that he carried on doing it behind closed doors. I don't know what he was planning, whether he was planning to take over or to rob me or to, it was just something along the lines of cutting me off to work with other people that offered him a better opportunity. But it was all lies. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I really had a heart for him, but he just didn't know that. So that's what was going on. And then I remember one day, this is the part that I'm gonna say, where I felt it in my spirit. Obviously, at the time, I weren't really spiritual, so I just thought, you know what, I just got to I just got this feeling that something's about to go wrong, and I didn't even know what was going on. That I didn't even know that he was doing things behind my back or planning anything behind my back. But I could just feel it in the air that something's about to go wrong, but I thought it was going to be along the lines of, something to do with police or something to do with rivals, even though I didn't really have any rivals. But, when you're making a lot of money, there's always going to be someone out there who's going to be hating on what you're doing and planning to take you out the map. Do you get what I'm saying? So I always knew that. And that's what I felt was, coming along the way. So I had that feeling, I could feel it in the air. And I remember I was ringing him, speaking to him, but I felt like I wasn't getting through to him. So I remember one day I was like, I'm going to drive up there. I just had this urge to just drive up there and sit him down and speak to him face to face. So I drove for a long time to go see him one time. This was like a few days before, what happened. I went up there. I remember driving there and he came in a car and I went round the corner to park up somewhere so we could sit and talk. We went back and forth for about 20 minutes and I was explaining to him the situation, like how I was feeling. And, I was just telling him that, look, I was basically just warning him, like, I didn't know he was actually still planning things behind my back, like I said, but I was just speaking to him. I was just warning him about certain things. Some of the things that I was even saying to him, I didn't even realize that, it's like I was speaking to him, but I didn't plan to speak to him in that way. So some of the words and some of the things that were coming out, it was as if, looking back now, it's as if God was using me to warn him, to speak to him, to pass him on a message. You get, actually, before that even happened, before I went up to speak to him, sorry, I missed the important part. I remember it was one of his family members. They were celebrating something. I think it was a wedding or something like that. It was a weekend, and I remember he told me about it, and I was like, yeah, go, what I'm saying, go spend time with your family and that. And then he was just like, nah, like, I'm just gonna go to the first bit of the wedding. I think it was a wedding. And then I remember, I think, is it the reception is the first bit in it. So he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to the first bit. Then after that, it's back to work. I've got to make this money. And it was just all about money, 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 money with him. That's what I started to realize. Like, he was just seeing the money and he just lost it. And I remember saying to him, like, no, man, like, never put that before your family. Like, go spend time with your family. You're always going to have a chance to make money. That was basically what I was saying to him. But he didn't listen. So cool. Then that's where we got to this part now where I actually went up and linked him, parked up, and I was speaking to him, was chatting for about 20 minutes, back and forth. I was getting a bit irritated because that's the thing about me. When I'm trying to like put my point across to someone that I care about, it's because I care, because of the passion, and it's coming from the heart. It, sometimes I get a bit irritated. So that's what was happening back and forth. And he just kept saying to me things like, yeah, basically, I know what I'm doing. Trust me, it's cool. Trust me, these people are going to help me. This, that. And I was just thinking, you know what? It is what it is, isn't it? And then we just left it as that, because I just thought, you know what, he's a grown man at the end of the day. You can't tell a grown man what to do. You get it? You can only advise. So I left it, provided him with advice, and then I left it and I went back home. And then couple days later, the feeling came again, but this time I felt sick to my stomach. Like, I felt like something was definitely happening or about to happen. And I remember calling him, because I'm far away from him now. I remember calling him, spoke to him. He was like, yeah, da. And then I said, cool, I'll call you back in about 20 minutes or half an hour. And then I tried to call him back 20 minutes, half an hour later. Yeah, and then I found out that um I couldn't get through to him. And then that's when I was like, raw, like, then the feeling started getting worse and worse. It was as if there was a dark cloud and I could feel it. But obviously I'm far from him, so I don't know exactly what's going on. So I was trying to get through to him. Couldn't get through to his phone. Then I started ringing people that I didn't even want to ring to try and see if they can get through to him. They couldn't get through to him as well. And then it's like for example, I'll ring one person and they'll talk to me on the phone, and I'll straight away, like they'll be telling me, first of all, for example, they'll be telling me red, the color red over the phone, but they really meant blue is happening, but they're saying red. So they're lying. But then to me on the other end of the phone, straight away, I'm getting blue. So I'm getting the truth. So as these people are lying to me over the phone, now I know what it was. It was the Holy Spirit, like telling me, like revealing things to me, and it has it's happening. So while they're lying to me over the phone, I was getting the truth in my spirit. Now looking back, that's what it was. So I already knew what was going on now, and it as I'm speaking to people, I'm seeing who's lying to me and what's going on. But I just needed the proof because at the time I didn't understand. I didn't really trust my intuitions like that. So people are lying to me, but I'm already knowing the truth, and I'm like, think of it as, like when murder happens, and they call what do you call him, the detective, and he comes to the crime scene and he's gathering all the information. That's basically what it was happening in real life. You know, People were lying to me, and I was basically just getting the truth in the spirit, and I'm just already placing two and two. I'm like, look, if this person says this, then they're lying. This is what it is. If this person not answer the phone, then this is why they are not answering their phone. If I ring back you know what I'm saying? So things like that. So I was just putting things together while they're lying to me. And then I already had it in my spirit that something's not right. Do you get it? But the only way I'm going to find out for a fact is if I can get through to this guy. And long story short, maybe I'll explain this story a bit more, another day, but just for the sake of this video, because I don't want it to be too long as my first story, yeah, I couldn't get through to him. And then when I finally got through to someone, after I already gathered up all this information that I knew, because I just played the game, innit? I just had to play the game because I didn't want no one to freak out, because at the end of the day, I didn't want no one to know that I knew what was going on, because you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't trust my intuition at the time. So I was just trying to play along, because I was just gathering information. So kind of like when the police brings people in for questioning, they know the proof that they've got, but they don't bring it to you straight away. They want to collect information, let you talk, write down notes and them things there so they can catch you when the time's right. So that's basically what I was doing. And when I finally got through to someone, the person was like, yeah, no, the person's passed away. Like, we just seen them in the house, this, that. And in fact, first I couldn't even believe it. My heart dropped. And then they were like, yeah, like the ambulance is here. Like, they're doing checks. Do you want to speak to him? And then that's when I hanged up the phone, innit? Because I was just like, damn. And I remember thinking, wow, like this. And then that's when the feeling that I had just went. It's as if the build up to what was going on, that's why I was feeling like that. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like I can feel that something's about to happen, something's happening, and now it's happened, and now the feeling's gone. Do you get it? So that's the story of, I know it's a short one, but, one day when I get time, when, I'm guided by the Holy Spirit to share the story properly, then I'll do so. But that's just a short story of when I first realized that, I was able to see something before it happened and actually, what's the word? Intercede. Some people say interceding is, God gives you a vision and things like that about people, and you have to pray about it. Maybe that's what I was supposed to do at the time, but like I said, I wasn't really much of a prayer at them times. So I feel like me going out my way and constantly trying to speak to the person and sitting them down was a form of interceding. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I was telling them what was going on, warning him, just passing on the message without even realizing it. I thought it was all coming from me, the feeling, but it was actually, God using me to tell this brother to be careful the way he's heading down. I don't know what he was planning. Obviously, God sees everything. So maybe he was planning bad things towards me. And, whatever's happened. He ended up losing his life because he put money first and he failed to take the warnings that I was trying to give him. Do you get it? And then these people that I was trying to warn him about, I'm pretty sure are the same people that did that to him. Do you get what I'm saying? And they're all right living their life. And, this brother has lost his life. So that's just one of the times where I could say I can put my finger on it and say, you know what? I actually have the gift to see things before they happen and warn people about it. That's why sometimes you might see me here doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, or TikTok videos, trying to warn people, trying to pass on a message. Just know it's coming from a place, and it's not totally me saying it. It's just, the visions and the messages that I get through reading the scriptures and revelations. Do you get what I'm saying? So I know some people might look at me and think, raw, like, who's this guy? Like, where did he just come from? And he's there speaking about all these revelations, speaking about scriptures like in this way. Is because I've had a certain walk with God, and I'm gonna share more of these sort of stories. So make sure you press the like button, if this has enlightened you in any way, and make sure you subscribe and let me know if you want more stories like this. And I've got stories for days, so I can always try and share them with you. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe on a weekly or monthly basis. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I want people to understand where I'm coming from and the walk that God has led me through for me to be at a point that I'm at now, where I can speak boldly about Christ. Do you get what I'm saying? Where I can speak boldly about the scriptures, because it didn't just start me just waking up one day and just be like, yeah, right, I'm going to make a YouTube channel. It didn't start like that. And there's many things I can talk about that, being told not to speak about it just yet, but there's also a few things that I can actually share with people, a few stories. So I hope you lot enjoy this video. Make sure to press the like button. This is Chris Speaks. My name's Forever Blessed Chris. And make sure to subscribe if this is your first time seeing me today. I'll catch you on the next video. God bless you. TikTok, I'm on time by the way, still